AIDS is not a bad person's disease, Rose. It is not God punishing people for their sins.
St. Luke's Hospital wants me to come in for some kind of test. That's where I had my gallbladder out 6 years ago.
Seems you had a transfusion while you were there. The hospital thinks the blood may have contained HIV antibodies.
HIV? Wait a minute. You're talking about AIDS.
That clip was from The Golden Girls, a very famous sitcom that aired in the 80s into the early 90s, I believe, about three widows and a divorcee living together in Florida in a house.
I might have AIDS, and it scares the hell out of me.
At this point in time in representation, lots of sitcoms had an AIDS narrative. And most of the time, those were a token character who would then educate them, and then they would learn, and then life would go back to normal. I think it was really interesting deciding to kind of have it be one of the women themselves navigating this. It was about destigmatizing and making it clear that this is not about shaming anybody or that it's like certain people get this thing. It's about a recognition that this could happen to anyone. And I think it also did it with a certain amount of grace and kind of tongue-in-cheek humor, which is like very much what that show was about. Setting up the serious and then kind of knocking it down.
Why me, Blanche? This isn't supposed to happen to people like me.
This aired in 1990. That was the year that I got diagnosed. Getting tested back then was no picnic. You went in, you had to wait 2 weeks to find out what the results were.
What are you talking about? I expect when I go to a hospital for an AIDS test to find out.
I'm sorry, I wish it was faster, but it takes us that long to be sure.
The woman sat me down and she's like, your test came back positive. And she started saying other things, but all I could hear was positive, that like it just kept ringing in my ears. And then the next thing that I heard her say was that if I'm not religious, that I might want to start. And that particular evening, I called up the person I was dating and said, I tested positive and you should go get tested, which were really hard conversations. And I just remember thinking like, kind of like what Blanche was saying in the scene, why is this happening to me? I'm a good person, all of that stuff. So it really hits home what she was saying.
You must have gone to bed with hundreds of men. Was one innocent operation.
Hey, wait a minute. Are you saying this should be me and not you?
No, I'm just saying that I am a good person.
AIDS is not a bad person's disease, Rose. It is not God punishing people for their sins.
You're right, Blanche.
Well, you're damn straight I'm right.
I love the slut shaming. I thought that was really, really funny.
Yes, they do go for the slut-shaming joke, but Blanche always bites back. I always appreciated that Golden Girls was self-aware enough to kind of represent both points of view and kind of get both laughs, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Although it would have been interesting if Blanche was the person who was possibly HIV positive, because it would talk about seniors and sex, because that's something that people don't want to talk about.
I'm fine! Oh, thank you, God. Oh, I wish you could have told me that on the phone. The last couple of hours waiting were the hardest.
I know. But even people who test negative often need more counseling.
Oh, I feel wonderful. I feel great.
Well, evidently you had all the emotional support you needed. I know what you've been through, and I'm really very happy things turned out.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Testing is so much better. It's quicker. It's easier. I'm glad that it changed, because those were really brutal times to have to go and do the test.
Now, because of rapid testing, you're getting kind of all your information up front. Also, the resources that are available to you are much better and more informed, and there's an awareness around kind of like the emotional impact that diagnosis has on you, and healthcare providers are a bit more aware of that and are better about that now.
If you are very active, you need to get tested often, because it's not just about HIV. I know everyone's loving PrEP and U equals U and all those things, but there's still other STDs out there. It should be like brushing your teeth, but think of it every 3 months. You need to make sure that you're healthy and you're safe and that you're good to go.
For what it was at the time, albeit dated. It nonetheless did it well.